Hey there, this is the second episode of the Newport Current. We're here live in the store coming at you. Please be sure to like, share, follow, and comment. Visit us online, stop in the store. We love hearing from you and sharing all the cool gear and stories that we get on the daily here. All right, so let's talk about Newport. Todd, tell me a little bit about your connection to the brand. Last time Brad and I were on the podcast, episode 1, we talked a little bit about what Newport means, to Brad, kind of what that story was, the history behind that. I'd love to hear a little bit of your perspective on just your journey for Newport, maybe kind of how that got started with you, what your connection is there.
In terms of the brand, I think Brad touched on it a little bit in the first episode, but it's one of those things that literally the classic story of it was scribbled out on a bar napkin, and we were coming up with concepts of like how to do something Newport branded, and to make a long story short, we ended up dropping the vowels and other versions of that, and then we found just the 5 letters was super succinct and like I said, it resonated. People didn't know. Well, even people from here at first were like, "What is NW?" And like, "Oh, it's just Newport." Oh, okay. And again, once you see it and hear it once, you can't unsee it, type of thing. And so it was like, okay, that's pretty cool. That's kind of like an insider's version of Newport. Mm-hmm. So people really took to it off the bat. The first few versions of hats we made, and it's just been embraced locally ever since. So it's very simple. All our design aesthetic is clean and bold, nothing complicated. But I've always said it's just stupid enough to work, So
yeah, absolutely. Well, it is bold, it is clean, it's a great design, it's catchy. You see it walking around town all the time, and it just stands out. It's not like anything else out there, which is really neat, and especially unique in the space of a city. I don't believe that Newport ever stepped up and kind of owned something like this in the past. I mean, do you guys feel the same about that? You see a lot of cities like Oceanside is O-side, and there's a lot of O-side pride there, or San Luis Obispo is slow. Mm-hmm. But I haven't really seen a connection to Newport in a way that this is. No,
there hasn't been, oddly enough. You'd think that someone would have came up with something, and if I missed you, I'm sorry if you did something creative. But Newport, as we know, is the home of so many surf brands, and they started Newport. Yep. Quicksilver goes back to the Echo Beach days, and all those great guys, and great brands like Volcom followed up. Again, Newport based, but of course went much larger than that. I like the idea of doing something that was sort of in town, but not a surf brand. That common footprint of surf brand. Let's do this. Let's get team riders. Let's that was just sort of the footprint for brand building out of Orange County for decades. And we just want to do something community oriented. That's what led us down to do the things we do within the community. And we figure if something can really resonate here over time, it can mushroom out and become something much larger. But we're just having fun with it locally still right now, and it's going in the right direction. Yeah,
absolutely. And there's a lot of interesting people, in this shop just this morning was a couple from Arizona. And I know this is such a destination location, which is something we talked about in the first episode as well, that there's so many visitors that come through here, and on the peninsula in particular, every single year. They were visiting Disneyland, and they just wanted to come down and see the ocean, and they got on their phones, and this is where it brought them. Mm-hmm. That's pretty typical. And then wanting to take back a little piece of Newport with them, which is pretty cool. And that just goes back to, like you said, this is simple, but it's very effective. Kind of piggybacking off of that too, meeting so many different people, from all the very different stories and backgrounds and locations that they come from here. What is it you guys feel is that connective tissue, all of our differences that surround us all the different places we're all from, but that connection to this brand, to this city? Talk to me a little bit about that. You guys have been here for a long time.
Well, yeah, I was going to just double back on, call it those bright spots when that, potentially you've got something exciting, and it kind of segues to what that question was right there. But I think, in addition to what Todd was saying, that certainly resonated. But as far as community adoption, right, because Newport, our brand, is all about local, right? capturing that vibe, capturing the energy of our town. So I think one part for me was just going to like a Newport Harbor football game, high school football game, and you talk about like just that small town feeling, and going to the game and just looking up in the crowd, and the hats are, NWPRT or Newport hats were vibing. So that kind of essentially captures the second part of what you were asking, and that is that, like, very much infused and enthused in the community. So that's that younger generation, the fact that when you're out there wherever in town and you see that younger generation really repping the gear, and it just means that you understand basically everything that our culture is about. So
speaking of community, I'd love to talk just a little bit, if you guys could share some of the collaborations that Newport's involved with. I know there's quite a bit out there, and you're really connected with a lot of really cool community partners here. I'd love to take a little bit deeper dive on what some of those collaborations are, and even how people can get connected with the brand if they're interested.
The collaboration idea was just a way to kind of do something beyond our original Newport branded patch. And a good way to do that is through some of the iconic businesses here in Newport. So we try and be kind of selective of who we partner with, but we've been lucky enough to do hats with Brad's got one of our Stag bar collab hats here, where we incorporate our logo into the classic Stag art with the Stag head there. I think the bar's been there since 1928 or something. It's like this building itself behind us is that old and older. So we've done hundreds of hats like that through there. They just kind of mix up, hey, Newport special edition, so they're regulars, but they sell through them pretty regularly. Malarkey is the classic Irish bar in Newport. We've done hats on St. Patrick's Day with them for a number of years, where we combine our logos and do a special edition St. Patrick's Day hat. They sell, I don't know how many hats on just that day alone or leading up to it, So it's just the go-to place in Newport. It's really the only Irish bar. So just associating with that is, when we were smaller, that was like, oh my gosh, we're so happy to hitch our wagon to that star. And now it's led to where it feels like a little bit more even of a collaboration. People are looking to us to attach our name to them, and they see the benefit in that, which is, I guess, the goal all along. So, Stag Bar's been great. Cove Steakhouse up in Newport Heights, Costa Mesa area up there. If you've ever been there, I don't need to tell you about it, but a lot of people would have trouble finding it, I think, even, so it's great to hear people's stories when they find it through us and then go there for the first time and go downstairs in an underground steakhouse. And
a lot of great collaborations, and I'd love to know if either one of you, both of you, chime in. I know the pine knot hats are pretty popular, but can you tell me a little bit about the backstory on that? Because that's also not a spot anybody's going to see anywhere. Why pine knot?
Quick background, Pine Knot's a motel that was gracing our coast highway in the Newport Shores area of West Newport up there for, I believe it operated for 48 years. And I don't know the exact dates, but maybe 2012 or something like that, or 2014, there was a fire. And it ceased to operate, and it never reopened. And there it sat. And the sign on the post was on Coast Highway for, a decade after it was closed, and just fading in the sun and probably disappearing in the background. People probably even stopped noticing it. But it was like, that needs to be memorialized. So I just recreated the sign, very simple art again, but just thought it would be funny. And then once people saw that on a hat, that, if they know about it, they had to have one. Especially the Shores residents at first, but anyone in Newport who's traveled up and down Coast Highway over the years sees it, may have a funny story from it. It has a bit of a checkered past, if you will. It was an affordable accommodations for years, let's say. But so when they started, it's being remodeled, torn down into a new boutique hotel now. I hear they salvaged the sign, are going to use that on the interior motif. So that will still live, and we're hoping to get our hats in the hotel there when they do open in their gift shop or something. yeah. So again, it was just something that people saw it, and I just thought it was funny, and then it's been one of our best sellers.
Easy way to pick up a piece of history, which is pretty fun. All right, well, I appreciate that, and I'm sure others do as well, that have seen that and just wondered, what is that story? So that's really cool. Real quick, I know you guys got a busy day, so we'll probably wrap up pretty soon, but I do want to ask just a couple more questions, and one is, looking forward-facing here, next couple of years, down the road, what are you all excited about?
Well, we're excited about, building the store presence. Brad probably remember I always said this brand needs a flagship store in Newport, and when we were nothing, during the pandemic, I was like, this will be a flagship store in Newport at some point. Yeah. That's really where the next step is. And, I pictured things everywhere from Lido Village, kind of a high-end boutique or whatever. We looked at some places on 17th Street at one time, explored the things over time, and that just nothing was quite the right fit at the right time, the right cost. Here we are finally right in the heart of Newport. So.
That's cool. Yeah, it's really exciting. It's a beautiful spot. What about you, Brad?
Yeah, what I'm looking forward to most is, like we had mentioned, really being able to immerse our brand and bring strong value to local entities, right? That could be individuals, or it could be businesses, could be companies. But if you're from town, if you're from Newport, that's really the way that I see, that's what I'm most excited about. Like, whether it be, for a fundraising, whether it be like a collaborative event in the store, whether it be obviously through the efforts of our podcast, really getting that message across to, share our vision, share your vision relative to your company. Not unlike the way that we've done these collaborative efforts. They're fun, they're exciting, they're obviously revenue producing. But yeah, that's, literally like immersing ourselves where we've been, our families are from here, we've been here a long, long time, but to actually be proactive and be able to bring like value and make a difference. So yeah, that's really cool. And echo everything that Todd said relative to having an actual physical flagship. How about you, Matthew? What are you excited about for Newport?
I'm excited to help get the word out, to be honest. I think it's a really cool brand. I think it's a really cool story, and I think the collaborations are amazing. And what touches me, my heart and my soul the most really is going back to the kids and the community there, and like some of the athletic programs that you guys have been involved in, and the support there at Newport Harbor High School. Of course, my own kids are going to matriculate out that way as well and go through that school. So again, shout out to the team over there. They're doing a great job here in Newport Mesa. But I think that's really fun, and I'd like to see that keep growing. The pop-ups out on the beach, just helping the community at large, and just being the fabric that kind of weaves the community together, I think is kind of fun. Anything we haven't talked about today that you just want to share that's top of mind?
Just something we're working on, not ready to launch today, but could be by the end of the week or something. We're going to take a stance, shall we say, on the great debate of the Newport Beach public golf course.
Okay.
So I'm just having some fun with it. Not that we have the power to change the city council's mind or anything like that, but we've got some fun stuff that we could get some messages out through headwear.
This week, we're going to be launching our ambassador program. So if you're interested, we'll have a link through our socials. So
sweet. Okay, so stay tuned to that as well. Yeah, follow us on social media. We just love hearing the stories. We love talking to everyone out there that stops in. So that's all we got for now. Be sure to like, share, comment, follow for more. We hope you're enjoying this content, and we really appreciate the love and support that y'all are providing Newport and us.